Alright my friends, we're going to do a second attempt at making this video properly. And so what are we going to have here is a review of the Bushnell Zoom 7 to 15 by 35, which means it has a 7 to 15 times magnification with a 35mm objective lens. And it has at 7 times magnification, it has a field of view of 300 feet at 1,000 yards, which in my opinion is probably going to be close to maybe a 6.5. If a 7.1 degree is 379 feet, 300 feet, shall we say, is 6.5 or maybe 6.1 or something like that. Anyway, for those of you who care about that. Now also, this particular body is the JB133, and this particular binocular is really cool in the sense that it has a provision here for a L bracket socket. Hopefully that came out. You just remove this cap and you install that there, so that's pretty nice. This one here is the InstaFocus model, which I tend to like a little bit. That's pretty nice. I have my Bushnell Ensign here, which also has a InstaFocus, and I also have a Kaysons that has the fast focus, which is basically the same mechanism. Now the eye relief for this one is, in my opinion, it's going to be a normal eye relief. In other words, you don't strain much putting your eyes to it. The eye relief is perfectly fine. It's normal compared to the Bushnell Custom and the Pentax that I reviewed earlier. Those two are like Cadillacs when it comes to eye relief. They are amazing. To me, those are like sitting on your favorite couch, watching your favorite movie, eating your favorite snack. For those of you who drive Harleys, those big giant fat Harleys, a friend of mine at work has one, and he says, man, I could ride on that thing 12 hours a day. It's like sitting on your couch. So the eye relief on those two binoculars that I just mentioned is Cadillacs of eye relief. This one particular is going to be quite normal. It's going to be a quite normal situation. And we're looking at here at the focus here at 7 times magnification. And as you can see all around the edges, it's actually quite nice. Surprisingly, very, very nice, because I don't see any warping or any bending of the image compared to, for example, the Bushnell Ensign. The Bushnell Ensign and I have a K-Mart Focal. Those were low budget binoculars. In my opinion, okay, in my opinion, this is not going to be a low budget. This is probably going to be the equivalent of a couple $100 in today's, adjusting for inflation. Now, this particular model does not have, or Bushnell Zoom, it does not have a model number. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't think the Bushnell Ensign doesn't have a model number, but I want to bring that up for a second a little bit later. And also I want to talk a little bit later about the zoom, because there's a lot of people out there who don't understand that zoom is really more of just a gimmick. We'll talk about that later too. Now, as I said, the eye relief is pretty normal for this. I would give this, as far as glasses friendly, a sort of a, shall we say, 50-50. 50-50. It isn't the greatest. Again, the Pentax that I reviewed and my Cosmos that I have not reviewed, those are, I'm going to zoom this up because we're going to move this around anyway. Hopefully you saw enough of that image that you can see. So as I mentioned, those two binoculars, the Bushnell and the Pentax, Bushnell Custom and the Pentax, those are super glasses friendly for sure. Now I think here we are at 15 times magnification with this binocular. I hope I did it right. I hope. Am I doing it right? It's kind of hard sometimes, sorry. But in any case, the whole zoom situation is a bit of a gimmick, to be honest with you, for those of you who don't know that. I hope it comes out. Damn it, I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. But we'll discuss that in a minute here. Now this is, again, is a the image is not really bad at all. It's not very bad at all. For those of you who are really set, have your heart set on buying some zoom magnification, most binoculars are still single or fixed magnification, and it's for a reason. If you want to buy something of high quality, when it comes to zoom, you have to pay a lot of money. That's just an unfortunate fact. So we'll talk about that in a minute here. But this is also a B-type body, okay, or American style. You can see here my Jana was the same. Even the Bushnell Custom, as you can see here, is actually like a B-type body. You can't remove the lenses like the Bushnell, the little lenses here, you can remove them. I have my Cosmos Ofuna here, which you can remove the lenses. Now this is also a binocular from the 1970s, mid 1970s, by the way. I know that because the lenses here, I took the left one off, is not a eccentric ring system. These little slits that you see here, those are there just to keep the lens inside this, what I call the housing. Now this is what's inside the binocular. For the binoculars like those that are eccentric ring for collimation, you access the lens from the inside by removing the whole housing, and you access the lens from the inside to remove it. But in this case, because it's not one of those, you can access the lens from the outside. So you don't even have to take this off from the binocular. Now this, as I've said before in other videos, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, this is rubbery, which is actually a pretty decent idea, because sometimes you see a lot of binoculars that have dings on the edges, and this will help out. On the back side here, we also have rubber pieces, which is pretty nice and comfortable. I give it a thumbs up for sure. And but as I was mentioning, I've mentioned before that when it comes to collimation or adjusting your binoculars, to my knowledge, and I've always said, to my knowledge, there are two ways of collimating your binoculars. And that is the eccentric ring system and the prism adjustment system, which is using screws to push the prisms around, which I did a video on that, and I hope that if you watch it, I hope that it's you can understand what I said. But this particular binocular obviously is not eccentric ring system. That ring there is the only thing keeping the lens inside. I have not been able to find any screws here, because the way that these B-type bodies work, and my Jana, I took apart my Jana. If you guys ever saw that video, I took apart my Jana, and what it is, and you have to remove these eyepieces here, and then you remove the cap here, and inside the two prisms, because there's two prisms, are together in one housing. That's the housing that you have to sort of adjust, fix around, move around. And I was able to pretty much do it with my Jana, because that Jana is an eccentric ring system for collimation, and so it is different. It's definitely different. This one, which one was not collimated? I gotta be honest with you. I got a 7x35 Jason Empire with fast focus, also a B-type body, which I gotta do a review on that one. It's very nice, and but I gotta collimate that, and I'm gonna have to open up the back and all that kind of stuff and look into it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that in another video. But these B-type bodies are different. Okay, they are different. And although, like I said, my Jana B-type body, but it still was eccentric ring system. This one is not. I got to find out exactly how. Got to play around with that. But in any case, my friends, another reason that I know, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to. Another reason that I know that this is a 1970s binocular, besides the what am I calling it? Oh, besides the fact that it's not an eccentric ring system, that it has this fast focus. The binocular itself is made of rubber, plastic, and aluminum alloy. Okay, so the aluminum alloy was something that you started to see more and more phased out in the 70s, because again, plastic was coming into fruition. Taking point the Bushnell Ensign, a lot of plastic, a lot of plastic. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and take this off here from the Bushnell if I can. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm taking off the Bushnell Ensign, and oh, I want you to take a look at this here. Okay, so you see the Bushnell Zoom here, right? You see the threading on that one, right? And those kinds of things are what matter. And you see the threading on this Bushnell Ensign. Okay, it's much thicker, it's bigger, it's kind of like just get it done, sort of it's all plastic. This on the Zoom is plastic, but the threading is a little bit finer, which always indicates a little bit more care in how it was done, more fine tuning, if you will. So, but they were doing away with all that kind of stuff back in these days here. And so that's just telling me that this was a mixture of plastic and aluminum alloys of some sorts. And the JB133, for those who know, I believe that's who manufactured the body. Bushnell and Kaysons were not producers. They were not manufacturers. They did not do anything like that. They were merely importers. Okay, so they would have to get together with different companies to produce different products or models and this and that. So and another thing that I know that this is the 1970s is because of this. Let me show you. Let me see if I can. Okay, so can you see that? Let me zoom that in a bit. Sorry for the earthquake here in California anyway. Okay, so you see that tag there, right? Past JTII, Japan Telescope Inspection Institute. Now that little tag there, that little past comes in different designs. Okay, so this design here tells me it's a mid-1970s. So this is another reason why I said this is. I know that this is a 1970s binocular for several reasons, as I just mentioned. And so I'm fairly confident. Now, if anybody out there knows, okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say about this binocular. Oh, wait a minute, one more. How close can you get to your object before you start losing focus? I got about 15 to 16 feet with this binocular before I was unable to focus. How about that? So other binoculars, I think in my Cosmos, I can only get like 50 feet. So for those of you who like to get really close, definitely. Now I know this is the 7x50, but the 50 and the 35 really have no meaning except smaller or bigger binoculars. And these are very nicely compact binoculars. They're a tiny bit bigger than the Bushnell Ensign if you have this one. They are about the same size as the Bushnell Custom, okay. And but here's my two questions regarding. So I'm gonna give this a really nice thumbs up. I'd probably pay about $30 for this thing because the image is very nice. It's not as good as the Cosmos for sure. It's not as good as it's not as good as the Cosmos, the Custom, or the Pentax that I reviewed earlier. Okay, it's not as super sharp, as super clear, but it is definitely better and nicer than this one here. Okay, this one warps on the edges and you almost can't quite get it super sharp. Now you can only compare 7 power to 7 power, 7 power, 7 power. Okay, don't try and compare 7 power to 10 or the 15 or 20 because that's not really fair for you you won't understand that. And so this binocular, I think I would probably pay about, I don't know, $30, $35. It's very nice, readily available. It does have zoom. It does lose a little bit of sharpness in the zoom. Okay, it has to be, in my opinion, mint condition with a bag to be worth $35-ish. Okay, and again, that's for those of you that are desperate to have some kind of a zoom power, because for me, for those of you who know the squint proof on these Bushnell Customs, you know that these things can go for a massive amount of money, a lot of money, a lot more than these for sure. And but these here, the Cosmos, you can get them cheaper because people are just completely ignorant when it comes to that stuff. But again, this is a very nice binocular. I'm very happy that I bought it. And again, if those of you who know the Bushnell Zoom, if you find an ad somewhere, hey, let me know what on the internet. I like to download original ads for these things because I think it's a lot of fun to have the original ads to compare prices of, like, you know, hey, this one was like this one here, for example. This here in 1961 was worth $89.50. So basically $90, which equates to just under $900 today. So that's the kind of stuff I mean that I got this for 25 bucks, by the way. And I'm going to show it. I'm going to look through it right now. I haven't done a review on it, so we'll take a look at it later. Now, as I was showing you, let me take this off here because I got to show you. Now, this is my Barska, the 8 to 24 by 40, and yeah, I took it apart because honestly, this is a modern binocular. It's not that good. I don't believe that it's good. I love my Barska products. Okay, those of you who've seen my other videos, my Barska spotting scopes and my 2080 binoculars, love those things. I mean, incredible. Those are very expensive in my opinion, $350 to begin with. They're a little bit cheaper now, but they were $350, and worth every penny. Whoo, worth every penny. But this one here, this is one of those $50, $60 ones that you could buy. And this is what I'm trying to convey to you, that you can buy. I paid 10 bucks for mine. Okay, did I not tell you that? With a carrying case, and it's really nice and clean. It's very nicely. It's collimated. Like I said, for 10 bucks, I think I'm going to end up keeping this one. Probably. I've got another binocular on the way, going to arrive today, and that's a very special binocular, Jason Statesman. And I bought it for a certain reason, and hopefully I'll make a good video for that reason today or tomorrow. But comparing this one with this one, 1970s Bushnell Zoom, with this Barska 8 to 24 by 40, the Bushnell wins completely. The image is clearer, sharper, nicer, and this is a zoom binocular too. Now, take a look at the zoom system. I've seen this before. It's a belt, okay? It's a belt system. When you move the lever, this belt moves, and it puts in the, gives you the zoom magnification and all that. Now this one here, let me take this off the mount. Give me 1 second here. I gotta use both hands for this thing. Do not want to drop it. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at this more vintage system for moving your binoculars around. Okay, let me see here. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, do you see that? Let's put it right in the sun here. You see that? It's got gears. It's got gears to do that. It's crazy, huh? Pretty cool. Interesting. So if you see that, you're definitely looking at an older, at least 70s, maybe 80s. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure when they started going to this particular system of using this metal band belt type thing to zoom it. So let's go ahead and take a really quick look at, if we may, at the comparison with the Cosmos, with the Bushnell. And just give me a second here whilst I reassess my focus here. And now I still have to tell you about my opinion on the zoom here and the mechanism for the zoom, the models. So that's at 7 times power. Hopefully, again, you can see the edges are very nice. Okay, it is pretty nice and clear, pretty darn nice and clear. And like I said, it does lose a little bit of the sharpness as you get to the 15, but it's still nice. Now, when I take it to the rifle range, which is where my coup de grace is for necessities, since we shoot at 1,000 yards, we're going to be doing that and see how good it looks. Now here is the Bushnell Custom, and okay, here is the Bushnell Custom. What do you think? It looks pretty good, huh? It's difficult to tell sometimes with my phone, so sorry about that. Okay, so, and yes, the Cosmos Ofuna does have a sharper, clearer image than even the Bushnell Zoom. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about was the the problem with all these Bushnell damn freaking binoculars. Okay, Bushnell, as I said, they didn't make anything. They were importers, but of course they had a hand in selecting this, that, or the other. Who made the bodies? Who made the lenses? You know how expensive that they want to make some. You know, something equivalent of $900 today, or something equivalent of like $30, $40, $50 today. I think this is equivalent. The Ensign is equivalent to the Falcon, which is still around. So how much are those? 30, 40, $50, something like that, without zoom. And this, of course, is the Bushnell Zoom. No model number. So again, if any of you knows this one, let me know. I really appreciate it. I love knowing the older prices on these things. And Bushnell makes a lot of binoculars, 7 to 15 by 35, 7 to 15 by 40, and so it can be very confusing. And were those particular binoculars low budget, middle budget, or higher end binoculars? Okay, so I'm not really sure. And this particular binocular, in my opinion, is not. Let me emphasize that it is not a low budget binocular like the Ensign or the Falcon. This was probably a little bit more on the middle range, equivalent in with compensating for the increase in was $10 then, it's $50 now type of thing. What I call adjusting for inflation, as they say. In my opinion, I think this was close to maybe $200 in today's market, because it's a very nice binocular. Overall, it's a very, very nice binocular. It certainly is better than this Barska, much better than this Barska. And so I think this was more of a little bit more of a mid-range binoculars, because there were some binoculars out there, $400, $500, $300. Again, adjusting for inflation. And because I said I go down and start looking at a bunch of different binocular models and brands and pricings from 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, and I adjust for inflation, and that's basically what I see. A lot of binoculars were the ones that were like $3 in 1950s are like $30 today. Cough, cough, and and so if you know that kind of stuff, then you can at least assess how much things can cost, and that's why paying $15 for this was a steal, an absolute steal. Paying $25 for this, even though it's not in really beautiful condition, the image on this one is just astonishing, and the comfort of the eye relief, astonishing. I would prefer this one much more over this one, as far as like which one. Even though this one has the zoom, this one is just like incredible compared to this one, just much better. I don't know if you were able to see that in my video. Unfortunately, I'm just using an iPhone. I'm not using high quality cameras, super high quality cameras. So that's the difference. Is there's so many different styles, of so many models of the Bushnells. It's difficult to know which ones were the higher end, which one was the lower budgets. And like I said, first of all, let me go back. I have found an ad where Bushnell themselves, 1968 ad, Bushnell themselves are listing the InstaFocus. They're listing the Sports View, which I know many of you have seen this, but it says Sports View. Banner, Sports View is good. Banner is better. Featherlight is best. Okay, so even they themselves, in that ad that I saw, were ranking their InstaFocus 7 by 15 to 35. And that's what I mean. There's so many different binoculars out there. There's so many different styles. So I don't know if this is supposed to be equivalent to the Featherlight or the Banner, because I know it's definitely better than the Sports View, because I've seen that one on at a swap meet. But maybe it just wasn't well taken care of. I don't know. But this one definitely looks nicer. for $10, when they told me $10, oh shit, yeah, I'm picking this one up for $10. I could sell it again. I could sell it for 10, $15, whatever. Get my money back. Just like the Pentax, $10. Wow, that's great pricing. If you know what you're looking for. So let me go into discussing the whole zoom situation here, okay? Zoom magnification started to be seen in the middle 1960s, and it was something that people kind of wanted because, again, lots of people are if I may be so rude as to say, ignorant when it comes to optics. They think that magnification is what makes it or breaks it, and so they don't understand that quality of the glass is what you really want to pay for, even if it is only a 7-power fixed, or 7-power fixed, or my 8-power fixed, or my 10-power fixed. It doesn't matter. When you can see super high detail, that's when things really make the difference in quality. And a lot of times you would see binoculars with zoom like this because people wanted to buy zoom, and Bushnell and Celestron and Barska, they all know this kind of stuff. Okay, they all know this, so they want to sell it to the masses, and so they start throwing in zoom, magnification abilities. But they were, from the beginning, they were not considered to be very nice. They were not considered to be good. Even cloudy nights. If none of you have ever seen forums on cloudy nights on the internet, you don't have to be a part of it, but you can read some threads, and there's a lot of people who always talk about how, don't be fooled by zoom magnification. It's pretty junky. In order for them to save money and pass that savings on to you, they had to go to aluminum or rubber and plastic, and started to stay away from the aluminum because it's more expensive. But plastic and rubber stuff, it doesn't mean junk. Like, even the Ensign is not junk. It's not an incredible binocular. You can do a hell of a lot better with incredible prices if you look for a vintage one like I did. But it's not junk, okay? It's not junky garbage. It's just a low budget binocular compared to, even this one is a much higher binocular, and this one for $15 was even a hell of a lot higher quality binocular in glasses, I mean, and in everything. But the zoom thing was something that you, even if you look at the Barska website, okay, if you go on the Barska website, you'll see that like 80 to 90% of their binoculars are still fixed power. They're not zoom. Okay, they're not zoom for a reason. And so you got to think about, like, what are they giving up when it comes to trying to lower the budget? You've got instafocus, new technology. You've got zoom, and something's going to give. Okay, so let's give a little bit when it comes to the parts, or a little bit aluminum, not all aluminum, a little bit more plastic, maybe a little bit more rubbery. So things are a little bit cheaper to make, and we can pass the savings on to the customer. But they didn't really throw away, they didn't lower the glass terribly, not terribly. They did lower the glass quality a little bit on this one. Again, comparing to their Bushnell Super Top, Rangemaster, Bushnell Customs kind of stuff, the feather lights. Yeah, it is lower than that, but it's not Bushnell Ensign lower. And it's a very nice binocular. And so you have to be wary and understanding of those kinds of things. So that way you can get your best bang for your buck. And so hopefully this video here will convince you, will at least help you decide whether or not you want to go and check this one out. Because remember, I never say buy something online. I always say, if you can go check it out, make sure that it's in really good condition. OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, eBay within driving range from where you live, because there is a provision there on eBay where you can say nearest to me, and boom, it'll pop up stuff that's nearest to you for whatever you're looking for. Now this here is a little bit sensitive. This one is not so sensitive. The Jason is not so sensitive, so it's a little bit more sturdy. This is just a little bit looser. It's not loose like in I need to tighten it, but it's just more not as sensitive. But in any case, my friends, I hope that my video did help you decide whether or not you want to look into this. Personally, yes, I think you should, especially for those of you that are really insistent on getting something that's zoom power. But still, the number ones for me, it's going to be the Pentax that I just reviewed, the Bushnell Customs, and these old Kaysons and Cosmos that I have. Very, very beautiful glass, very nice binoculars. This one gets a thumbs up to me though. This one, this one gets a thumbs up if you're gonna buy for $5 for your kid. This one is definitely nicer in a higher grade than the Bushnell Ensign, for those of you who might want to compare something like that. And so, thanks again for watching my video. Sorry that it's 30 minutes long, but there's a lot of information and a lot of things to talk about sometimes. Okay, thank you.